Hi, I'm Catherine Townsend. I'm a licensed private investigator, but before that, I was a dating columnist. You know, people think it must have been a strange switch to make, but actually dating and detective work have a lot in common. They both involve sitting across from a stranger, asking intensely personal questions, and trying to determine if that person is a lunatic, and what skeletons they're hiding in the closet. The difference is, with detective work, the skeletons can be more literal. Hopefully, your Tinder dates will just be metaphorical. Here are 5 red flags to look for on a date. If you see any of them, you should run for the hills. Tip number 1 may sound like a small thing, but it's actually one of my biggest pet peeves: people who are rude to waiters or other staff. According to my DSM, which I constantly read and recognize many signs of people that I've dated, signs of a narcissist include displays of grandiosity, entitlement, dominance, and superiority. Okay, which is basically exactly what someone's demonstrating when they are rude to people who they consider to be beneath them. That type of contempt, in my opinion, whether they're ordering KFC or champagne and caviar, is a drop-dead deal breaker. So, you know, do not pass go, just get up and walk away. Tip number 2. Beware of anyone who tells you that every single person they ever dated was either crazy or a bitch. If they've dated that many bunny boilers, you have to just remind yourself that the common denominator in the relationship is them. If they're not mature enough to take responsibility for their role in a breakup, then they're probably gonna be bad-mouthing you next, and you're not gonna be treated any differently. Tip number 3, beware of someone who hands you a business card that has more than 2 job titles. Now, this is a little tip that I picked up in Los Angeles, which is a sunny place where a lot of shady people sit in Starbucks and pretend to be making million-dollar deals when actually they're checking Facebook. Very few people in the world have 3 job titles. Sometimes it can make sense. You can have a model/actress or a writer/editor, but there aren't too many doctors/astrophysicists/pilots in the world. Don't be too impressed by the title CEO, because while it can be legitimate, people can be very successful CEOs of companies, and many people work for themselves. You can also, with 5 minutes and a computer, you can set up a corporation online. You just have to be careful because CEO could stand for CEO of Mom's Basement. Tip number 4, anyone who gives you a burner phone number or refuses to take you back to their place always has an excuse for why they can't take you home with them after several weeks of dating. It's a definite red flag. Sometimes people can be hiding innocent things. They might be embarrassed about where they live, or they might have a roommate that walks around in his underwear, but often they're hiding things that are more serious. They could be hiding a wife or kids, a girlfriend, dead body, whatever it is, you need to know about it. And someone needs to share where they live with you because it says a huge amount about who that person is. Tip number 5 is beware someone who has too much intensity. They sit just a little bit too close, stare at you a little bit too long. They're asking you what you want to name your kids before you order the appetizer. And if you've been alone for a while, it can be very tempting to sort of fall into the trap of being with someone like this because let's face it, you know, con artists are talented and they know what we want. Meet their friends, ask who their friends are, ask questions about their job, and don't fill in the blanks yourself. It's a scientific fact that in the first flush of romantic love, your brain is similar to the brain of someone who is addicted to cocaine. So think about it, you know, what other major life decision would you make while you're high on crack? Think about it before you run off to Vegas in a quickie wedding.